Welcome back everyone. We're going to be doing another mid-2020 review, and this time none other than the Samsung Galaxy S9. Now this is one of those phones that I have a lot of respect for. Even though it didn't look much different than the original, Galaxy S8, it still was a really good phone nonetheless, and even more so now than then, it's held up extremely well, and a lot of things have even changed from early on this year. Now, I did my full review in January or February whenever I did it, and since then we have gotten the One UI 2.0 update, so I was able to mess around with this specific phone, so a lot of things have actually changed with this one. I didn't even realize it until now. Now this phone originally came out in 2018, so a little bit over 2 years ago, and it's pretty crazy that this phone is 2 years old now, or over 2 years. And the saddest thing is that it's actually on its last version of software, which really does suck, I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully Samsung will actually go and change it to Android 11 or something, because Android 11 doesn't really seem to be that crazy of an update. Against all the phones that I've tested, it seems to me like that's the case, but again, I could be wrong. Now pricing wise, this thing started off this year at around, I would say about $290, $290 in the used market. Right now on Amazon, they're selling for a little bit less than $280, so that's a really good sign. I guess not really. I mean, these things hit a massive depreciation the first year, and then they slowly depreciate over time, and at this point, they're really not going down that much more, which is totally okay. So kind of keep that in mind, but if you want to pick one up, I'll find the cheapest one on Amazon and link it down in the description below so you guys can get it from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now looking on the front, this thing has a 5.8-inch Super AMOLED display. It's 1440p, and honestly, I think it's a pretty good panel overall. I think it looks really good. It feels extremely good in my opinion, and honestly, like I stated before, I mean, yeah, the S20, the S10 even probably has better displays. The S20 obviously has a way better display, but this one is still really good. And when I compared it even last year to my iPhone 11 Pro's panel, I was like, dude, this panel is probably better than the iPhone 11 Pro, and it's still almost the exact same way. It's a very good looking panel. There's really not too much to hate on it, which is a really good sign. You have very little bezel on the top and bottom. It's a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. And still the screen looks really good. Not even that much burn-in on my display either, which is a good sign. On the bottom, USB Type-C port as well as a headphone jack, which is awesome. And on the back, fingerprint sensor and that single camera setup. You have a micro SD card slot on this phone still too, which is really cool. And overall, still feels extremely good. It's a very good phone. And honestly, the way it feels, it still gets a thumbs up for me on my books, dude. I mean, nothing has changed the way it feels, but it still feels like a really good phone. Now moving on to the biggest change, which was the software. So early on this year, we started off on this phone with Android 9. We are on Android 10 right now, One UI 2.0, which is a good thing. I like it more than I like One UI 1, but still wasn't a crazy big upgrade in my opinion. These last couple versions of Android, man, they could have really changed up a lot more. One UI was a decent sized update, but I think Samsung has a long way to go still. But one thing I like about Android 10 overall on my Samsung Galaxy S9 is that because it wasn't such a big, rehaul of an update, which I think is a good thing, it would actually, made it a little bit smoother and a little bit, I think, smoother. It didn't make it faster, but it just made the experience smoother, which is cool. When I load up an app and these animations are much nicer. When I swipe out, we have the whole entire new gesture UI, which is amazing. It makes this phone feel so much better and so much newer. Having that a nav bar on the bottom, I don't know whose idea that was, but having that go away is so much better, and I literally love that so much. So in my opinion, that's honestly one of my favorite things, and the UI, the whole entire experience has been pretty good. I'll say it's a thumbs up for as One UI 2.0 goes for an older phone, but it's definitely nothing compared to Oxygen OS or even stock Android, so I'll definitely say the update in the software really helped out a lot for this phone. I feel like they still have a long way to go, but on the Galaxy S9, I still think the software is great in my opinion. Now moving on to the performance, we have that Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset, an Adreno 630 GPU, and 3 different models with 4 gigs RAM each, and the performance is still about the same on all of them as expected. It's still extremely good. There's really not too much to complain about, as I said before. Yeah, there's some things here and there that kind of rub me the wrong way, but with One UI 2, because of that new gesture UI, it just feels smoother than what it was before, which is something I really like. So because of that, it just feels smoother, and even though it might not be faster inherently, I feel like it's definitely an update, and from early on this year to now, I feel like the performance may have gotten slightly better. So not much has changed there, but because of the software, maybe some things have changed a little bit, but still nothing too drastic. So in terms of performance, that pretty much covers it. Now hitting on the camera, this thing has a 12 megapixel camera on the back. You can do 4K at 60, which is extremely awesome, but you don't have any, telephoto lenses or ultra-wide sensors, which even the budget phones of this year have that capability. So not a deal breaker, nothing like that, but still, again, at the end of the day, something to consider. So I'm not really freaking out about it too much. I still think the camera is pretty decent, but some of you guys might freak out about it, so just keep that in mind. You have a dual camera setup on the front, kind of. You have an 8 megapixel sensor, then a 2 megapixel iris scanner, whatever, but you can do 1440p video on that, which is cool, but compared to what we have nowadays, it's still, a little bit behind, but still totally okay. Now, when you get off with the battery, we have a 3000 mAh battery within this, and you have wireless charging, which is really cool and all that. And I think overall, what I can tell you is the battery life is still probably on the better side of things. I don't think it's that bad, but I don't think it's horrible either. I don't think it's great, but it's right there in the center, which is something that's kind of funny. So I think overall, the Samsung Galaxy S9's battery life is probably right in the middle, a little bit right on average, nothing too crazy, but ultimately, without spending 40 minutes talking about this stuff, should you still pick up a Galaxy S9 in the middle of 2020? I'll say, bro, 100%, yeah. I don't really see a huge problem of, why you shouldn't pick this thing up. There are a couple of things, in my opinion, that's not getting any more software updates. The performance isn't amazing compared to some other new phones. But I think for the price range, there's really not too many other phones you can get. Maybe a OnePlus 6T or a Pixel 3 or something like that. But even then, this phone is still perfectly fine, and it's still getting software updates. It's probably going to get security updates after that, which is good. So that really pretty much covers it up, guys. If you have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that would get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.